What's up, everybody? This your boy, Bless the Damn Best, coming at you live with another very important message for the family. Okay, today we got Mr. Tariq Nasheed. Okay, a couple of days ago, Tariq was doing a broadcast, and the subject of John Lewis came up, and Tariq and other members of the New Black Media, they use John Lewis a lot of times as a symbol of the civil rights movement in the 60s and how some of them basically left the battlefield after that and became shields for the Democrats. So they get, criticism about that. So Tariq Nasheed mentioned John Lewis, and somebody in the chat questioned Tariq and said that he didn't have the credentials to mention somebody like John Lewis. That's debatable, but that's not what this video is about. Some people took it as if he was disparaging the non-violent side of the civil rights movement. So fast forward to the next day. He opened up his broadcast by clarifying the importance of a non-violent movement backed up by basically street cats who had no problem with the violence, who were always in the background. So, but he can tell you about it way better than I can. So I'm just gonna go right into the video. Peace.
About a lot of folks like my last live on my Tariq Radio YouTube channel. I want to clear something up because I was talking about John Lewis. Somebody we were talking about John Lewis, and somebody was like, John Lewis did more than you, and then I had to read my resume off to this. Because I was clowning that whole non-violent thing. But let me say this. Let me be fair about something. Because I want to bring clarity, because what I don't want to do, I don't want to dismiss the non-violent part of the movement. Let me clear something up. Because I gotta take my personal views out of it, because I try to be objective and I try to be fair. Okay. And I've always been very critical of John Lewis. But I'm going to be fair. I am a fair person. But let me say this. Some of the nonviolent stuff was needed. Let's be clear. And Dr. King and others, they understood how to be strategically nonviolent. All right? That was a strategy because they knew the counterweight of the nonviolent front of the movement was the rebellious riders who were in the background ready to get those Molotov cocktails popping. So there was always a real balance to the civil rights movement. There was that silent, but very, very present, rebellious energy on the streets that could turn up any moment. So the Black community played good cop, bad cop strategically, which was very smart. So the nonviolence thing, it did have its place. It actually worked as a counterbalance to what was going on, because they knew at the time in the 60s, we were turning up. The Black family was turning up. Watch riots. I mean, there was a lot of turning up out there. And the turn up, you didn't know who was going to turn up and you didn't know when it was going to happen. It was very spontaneous. So what would happen was these spontaneous turn-ups would go down, and then you would have the brothers and sisters who were saying they're the non-violent ones. So it was good cop, bad cop. So Dr. King and those guys, they would sit at the table and then kind of negotiate, like, hey, how you doing? I'm non-violent. I ain't gonna hurt nobody. I believe we all God's people. But them niggas out there, I don't know what they gonna do. So it would behoove you to pass this bill. It was like that. So Dr. King was very smart. Because Dr. King, he had some riders with him now. Let's be clear. Dr. King had some riders. He had Hosea Williams, shit. I knew Hosea Williams down in Atlanta. Hosea Williams was a rider. Hosea Williams would get a gun on your ass. He had riders with him. The deacon of self-defense, all of those, they had riders now. They had riders, but they, for the cameras and when they sat down and negotiated, they played the whole, we gonna sing some Negro spirituals and, We don't want to fight. Now we going to be peaceful in protest. Now that young man over there with that Molotov cocktail and that pistol, I don't know what he gonna do. You have to, but it would just, if you work this deal out, I go over there and talk to him. It's that. So that was a very smart tactic to use. So I just wanted to put that in context. So with the John Lewis's, because what they kind of give John Lewis, the white people give him more credit than what he did. Because what they do, John Lewis is basically a creation of white media. They want to make you think that white people changed their minds about civil rights because they got tired of whooping John Lewis's ass. And that ain't what happened. That ain't what happened. All right. So I won't totally dismiss John Lewis. I won't totally dismiss him, but him just running around for the last 60 years of his life, and he passed. R.I.P. to him. Just going on, I got my ass whooped in Selma tour indefinitely. That was a one-hit wonder. We just got to put that in context. Okay, some of that did have its place, but that wasn't what the damn movement was about. All right. We got to be very clear about history. We got to be very clear about history. But the nonviolence did have its place because you had a moral front. You had the people in front of the cameras taking the moral high ground, and you couldn't argue with that. That was something you couldn't demonize those people. You couldn't really demonize John Lewis. You couldn't really demonize him. You couldn't demonize Dr. King. You couldn't demonize a lot of those folks who were, standing there with dignity and saying, hey, we're not going to fight. We're going to pray. And it was hard to demonize them. And behind the scenes, you had the brothers out here whooping ass for real, for real. We had the militant cats. And we got to pay homage to the brothers who were the militant cats because a lot of them got forgotten. We don't talk about them enough. If you watch my movie American Maroon, you can stream that on Amazon, by the way. Y'all go to Amazon right now and stream American Maroon. We talk about some of those organizations in the 60s that were putting it down for real. That's forgotten about. You dig? So it's very important to tell the totality of the story. Speaking of documentaries, my next film, and I'm really feeling the spirit of doing this film about Dr. Welsing. That's the ancestors are telling me to go with that because it's just real heavy on my heart to tell the story of that sister. I was going to do like the West Coast version of Microphone Jack, but I can wait. I mean, I can wait. I can wait on that. Something is just the ancestors keep telling me to do this piece about our good sister, Dr. Welsing.